The vast emptiness of space stretched before the research vessel Star Weaver, its sleek hull cutting through the darkness like a silver arrow. Captain J. Park leaned forward, his weathered hands gripping the navigation console. Something unusual had caught their scanning systems, a faint signal from a sector most believed to be nothing more than an empty void. "Hyun, can you clean up that signal?" Jay called to his communications specialist, a woman whose keen eyes never missed the smallest detail. Hyun Kim's fingers flew across the quantum interface, her brow furrowed in concentration. Static crackled, then cleared. A distinct pattern emerged, definitely artificial, definitely technological. But something was off. The signal didn't match any known alien communication protocol. "It's human," she said quietly, her voice a mixture of surprise and confusion. The ship's primary screen flickered to life, displaying a rocky planet that looked unremarkable at first glance. Barren landscapes stretched across its surface, interrupted by occasional rock formations and hints of sparse vegetation. But the automated scanning systems told a different story. Advanced detection algorithms picked up complex underground structures. Precise geometric patterns suggested intentional design, not random geological formations. Energy signatures flickered in and out, like a heartbeat barely perceptible to standard equipment. Captain Park studied the readings. In his 30 years of interstellar exploration, he had seen countless abandoned colonies, forgotten outposts, and mysterious planetary settlements. But this was different. "Prepare a surface probe," he instructed the team. "We need close-range imaging." The probe detached from the Star Weaver's exterior, its advanced sensors cutting through the planet's thin atmosphere. As it descended, the first visual images began to stream back to the ship's main display. Perfectly preserved structures emerged. Buildings that looked almost new, despite no signs of recent maintenance. Solar collectors positioned with mathematical precision. Water collection systems that seemed to have been functioning autonomously for decades, perhaps centuries. "No radiation damage," Hyun muttered, more to herself than anyone else. No signs of conflict or destruction. The probe's thermal imaging revealed intricate underground networks. Entire complexes buried beneath the planet's surface, protected from external environmental conditions. Each section appeared designed with remarkable efficiency: living quarters, research facilities, agricultural zones, all interconnected with a complexity that spoke of careful, intelligent planning. Captain Park felt a chill run down his spine. This wasn't just another abandoned colony. This was something else entirely. "No visible life signs," reported the ship's primary AI system. "But environmental systems show periodic microadjustments. Something is maintaining these structures." The probe continued its descent, capturing images that raised more questions than answers. Perfectly maintained corridors. Research facilities with equipment that looked almost new. Hydroponic gardens still showing traces of recent growth, despite the apparent absence of human presence. "Run a comprehensive historical database search," Jay instructed Hyun. "Cross-reference these structural designs with known human colonial expansion records." Minutes passed. The ship's advanced computer systems worked silently, comparing every minute detail against centuries of recorded human exploration data. A soft ping indicated a match. "Preliminary results suggest this is a lost human colony," Hyun said, her voice tinged with excitement. "But the records are fragmented. No complete mission logs, no definitive founding date." Captain Park studied the images. Something about this place felt different. Not abandoned. Not destroyed. Something else. As if the entire colony had been waiting. Preserved. Intentionally hidden. "Prepare a landing team," he said finally. "We're going down to the surface." The Star Weaver's landing protocols engaged, bringing the massive research vessel closer to the mysterious planet. Whatever secrets this lost human colony held, they were about to uncover them. Little did they know, the discovery would change everything they understood about human potential and survival. The landing team moved carefully across the planet's surface, their protective suits scanning for potential hazards. Lead researcher Jay Park walked at the front, his experienced eyes taking in every detail of the landscape. Beside him, Hyun Kim carried advanced scanning equipment, her movements precise and calculated. The first building they approached looked like a research facility. Its outer walls were made of a strange material that seemed to shimmer slightly, almost as if it was breathing. Automated security systems appeared to be inactive but not damaged. It was more like they were waiting. "These systems are too clean," Hyun whispered, running her handheld scanner across the entrance. "No dust. No degradation. It's like they were maintained yesterday." The entrance opened with surprising ease. No locks. No resistance. Just a smooth, silent slide of massive metal doors revealing a perfectly preserved interior. Climate control systems hummed softly in the background, maintaining a constant temperature and air quality. Research logs filled entire walls. Digital screens displayed complex genetic charts, planetary adaptation studies, and technological development records. But something was strange about these documents. They weren't just scientific records, they were a blueprint for something much larger. Park discovered the first hints of the colony's true purpose. Genetic modification wasn't just a research project here, it was a complete redesign of human biological potential. The logs described experiments in cellular regeneration, radiation resistance, and multi-environment adaptation. They weren't just trying to survive, Park muttered, scrolling through the data. They were trying to evolve. Detailed records showed systematic changes to human physiology. Genetic modifications that would allow humans to metabolize different energy sources. Cellular structures redesigned to withstand extreme radiation. Biological systems that could repair themselves at unprecedented speeds. Hyun found a whole section dedicated to planetary transformation technologies. Methods to alter environments, not just adapt to them. Technologies that could convert hostile planetary conditions into livable spaces within months, not decades. "This isn't just survival research," she said, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and disbelief. "This is a complete reimagining of human potential." The deeper they explored, the more complex the story became. Storage chambers revealed advanced technology unlike anything in current human or alien databases. Quantum communication systems. Energy generators that seemed to pull power from multiple dimensional sources. One particularly interesting discovery was a massive genetic library. Thousands of modified human DNA sequences, each carefully catalogued and preserved. It wasn't just research, it was a comprehensive plan for human adaptation and expansion. Park noticed something else. The entire facility felt like it was waiting. Not abandoned. Not empty. Just paused. Biological samples showed extraordinary modifications. Humans redesigned at the cellular level to survive in multiple environments. Photosynthetic capabilities integrated into human skin cells. Respiratory systems that could extract oxygen from environments traditionally considered unbreathable. They weren't just preparing to survive, Hyun said, her hands trembling slightly as she processed the data. They were preparing to transform. Storage units contained advanced nanotechnological systems. Tiny machines designed to continuously repair and enhance human biological structures. Medical technologies that could rebuild damaged tissue in moments. Immune systems that could adapt to new pathogens almost instantly. The most shocking discovery came from a hidden research log. A final entry, dated almost a century ago, suggested the entire colony had been part of a deliberate, coordinated plan. Not an accident. Not a failed experiment. A transformation. As night fell on the mysterious planet, the research team realized they had discovered something far beyond a simple lost colony. This was evidence of humanity's most ambitious evolutionary experiment. Something extraordinary had happened here. And they were about to find out exactly what. The underground complex stretched like a hidden city beneath the planet's surface. Researcher Jay Park and his team moved through carefully designed corridors that seemed to breathe with a life of their own. Every surface told a story of human innovation and survival. In the central research chamber, complex holographic displays flickered to life as they approached. Automated systems recognized their presence, activating preservation protocols that had waited silently for decades. Medical research logs began to play, revealing the colony's most extraordinary secret. Biological adaptation wasn't just a scientific goal here, it was a complete reimagining of human potential. The logs showed systematic modifications that defied everything Park understood about human physiology. Cellular structures that could regenerate damage in minutes. Skin that could absorb energy directly from multiple sources: radiation, sunlight, even minimal heat signatures. They weren't just modifying humans, Hyun Kim muttered, studying the detailed genetic charts. They were creating an entirely new version of human beings. The most shocking discoveries came from the medical research sections. Humans here had been redesigned at the most fundamental level. Respiratory systems that could extract oxygen from environments with minimal breathable air. Digestive systems capable of processing multiple energy sources: organic matter, radiation, even certain mineral compounds. Park found a preservation chamber with biological samples that looked both familiar and completely alien. Modified human DNA sequences showed capabilities beyond anything in known scientific records. Cells that could rapidly shift their molecular structure to adapt to extreme environments. Immune systems that could analyze and neutralize unknown pathogens within seconds. Deeper exploration revealed entire sections dedicated to environmental transformation technologies. Machines designed to convert hostile planetary conditions into livable spaces. Nanotechnological systems that could restructure entire ecosystems, making uninhabitable planets viable for human settlement. One particularly remarkable discovery was a system of biological energy storage. These modified humans could store energy like living batteries, drawing power from multiple sources. Radiation, sunlight, even minimal heat differentials could be converted into usable biological energy. The medical logs told a story of deliberate, careful modification. Each change wasn't random, it was part of a comprehensive plan. Humans redesigning themselves to become the ultimate survivors. Adaptable, resilient, capable of thriving where no other species could survive. Han discovered a complete genetic library, thousands of potential human adaptations carefully preserved. Modifications for different planetary conditions. Genetic sequences that could be activated or deactivated depending on environmental needs. They weren't just preparing to survive, she said, her voice barely a whisper. They were preparing to become something entirely new. The survival mechanisms went beyond simple biological modifications. Advanced technological systems were integrated directly into their potential physiological structure. Nanomachines that could repair cellular damage. Communication systems that could work across multiple frequency ranges. Park found a research log that explained their ultimate goal. This wasn't just about survival. It was about human potential. Creating a version of humanity that could exist anywhere. Adapt to anything. Survive impossible conditions. The most mind-bending discovery came from a hidden research section. Evidence of dimensional adaptation technologies. Hints that these modifications weren't just about physical survival, but about potential transcendence. As the team continued their exploration, the true scale of the project became clear. This wasn't a colony. It was a laboratory for human evolution. A place where the boundaries of human potential were being systematically pushed beyond all known limits. Night fell outside, but inside the underground complex, the story of human adaptation continued to unfold. Each discovered document, each preserved sample told a piece of an extraordinary puzzle. Humanity had been preparing for something. Something far beyond simple survival. Something revolutionary. The research team stood in the central control room, surrounded by silent machines that seemed to pulse with hidden energy. Researcher Jay Park studied the massive holographic displays, his fingers tracing fragmented data streams that told an impossible story. Something had happened here. Something extraordinary. The colony's final records were frustratingly incomplete. Massive data blocks showed systematic preparations. Complex mathematical calculations. quantum dimensional mapping. But the final moments, the actual departure, remained a mystery. Hyun Kim discovered the first significant clue in a hidden data archive. A series of genetic sequence logs that suggested a coordinated, collective transformation. Not an evacuation. Not a failure. Something else entirely. "Look at these biological readings," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "They're preparing for something beyond physical movement." The record showed a deliberate, planned process. Entire population groups undergoing simultaneous genetic recalibration. Technological systems being integrated directly into human biological structures. Quantum communication networks that seemed to connect individual consciousness. Park found a research log that made his blood run cold. Hints of a planned dimensional shift. Not space travel in the traditional sense. Something more profound. A collective movement that transcended physical limitations. Survival wasn't their goal anymore. Transformation was. Detailed simulations revealed extraordinary preparations. Entire populations modified with integrated quantum communication systems. Biological structures that could potentially exist across multiple dimensional planes. Technologies that blurred the line between biological life and pure energy. The most shocking discovery was a massive energy signature detected in the colony's final moments. Not an explosion. Not a traditional energy release. Something that suggested a coordinated, collective movement of consciousness. Fragments of research logs painted a strange picture. Discussions about human potential that went far beyond traditional scientific understanding. Concepts of consciousness that could exist independently of physical form. Ways of experiencing reality that humans had never imagined. "They didn't just leave," Hyun whispered. "They transformed." Technological systems throughout the complex told pieces of the story. Quantum communication networks that showed massive data transfers. Biological modification systems that suggested a complete redesign of human potential. One preserved research log suggested they were preparing to become something entirely new. Not just survivors. Not just explorers. Something that could exist beyond traditional physical limitations. Park discovered a final system log. Timestamps showing a coordinated process that happened almost simultaneously across the entire colony. Massive energy transfers. Quantum dimensional mappings. Biological structures being systematically redesigned. The most intriguing evidence was what wasn't there. No signs of destruction. No indications of conflict or failure. Just a precise, calculated movement. As if the entire colony had simply decided to shift. Hyun found a hidden data module that hinted at their ultimate destination. Not a physical location. Something more complex. A state of existence that humans had never previously imagined. The research team realized they were looking at something unprecedented. Not an abandoned colony. Not a failed experiment. But a deliberate, calculated transformation of an entire human population. Something extraordinary had happened here. A collective decision to become something more than human. To transcend physical limitations. To explore realities beyond traditional understanding. As night fell outside, the underground complex remained silent. Waiting. The story of the colony's mysterious departure hung in the air, a testament to human potential and the unknown frontiers of existence. They had not disappeared. They had evolved. The research vessel Star Weaver hummed with anticipation as researcher J. Park compiled the final report. Every discovery from the lost human colony challenged everything known about human potential and galactic evolution. Captain Hyun Kim watched silently as holographic displays danced with complex data streams. The findings would revolutionize scientific understanding across multiple civilizations. Humanity was no longer just another species, they were something extraordinary. The report began with the fundamental discoveries. Genetic modifications that allowed humans to survive in impossible conditions. Biological systems that could adapt, transform, and regenerate beyond known scientific limitations. Technologies that blurred the lines between biological life and pure energy. Most shocking was the evidence of collective consciousness transformation. The colony hadn't died or been destroyed. They had deliberately chosen to evolve, to become something entirely beyond current understanding of life itself. Quantum communication logs suggested they had developed a way to exist across multiple dimensional planes. Not just travel. Not just communication. But a complete reimagining of existence. Park highlighted the key implications. Humans were not limited by traditional biological constraints. They could adapt. They could transform. They could survive where no other species could even imagine surviving. The research team's preliminary analysis suggested this was not an isolated incident. Hints in the recovered data implied other human colonies might have undergone similar transformations. A systematic, deliberate evolution of the human species. Genetic libraries showed thousands of potential adaptations. Modifications for different planetary conditions. Biological systems that could extract energy from multiple sources. Consciousness technologies that went beyond traditional understanding. Han discovered something even more profound. Evidence that humans were developing a way to exist as pure information. Not just transferring consciousness, but becoming something that could exist beyond physical form. The implications were staggering. Humanity was not just a species. They were a revolutionary force of adaptation and innovation. A potential that could reshape entire galactic understanding of life and evolution. The final report warned other alien research teams. Humans should never be underestimated. They were not just another civilization. They were a potential transformative power in the universe. Park included detailed recommendations. Further research. Careful observation. Understanding the potential of human evolutionary capabilities. One particular section caught Hyun's attention. A small note suggesting that the colony's transformation was just the beginning. Hints of a larger plan. A systematic approach to human potential that went far beyond simple survival. The research vessel's communication systems began receiving additional data. Fragments of information from other lost human colonies. Each piece suggested a similar pattern of deliberate, calculated transformation. As the report neared completion, both researchers understood they had discovered something unprecedented. Not just a lost colony. Not just an evolutionary experiment. But evidence of humanity's extraordinary potential to become something more. The universe, they realized, had gravely underestimated human capability. Outside the research vessel's windows, distant stars seemed to shimmer with new possibilities. The lost colony of New Terra had revealed a truth that would change everything. Humans were not just survivors. They were architects of their own evolution. The report was complete. A testament to human potential. A warning to the universe. Something extraordinary was happening. And it was just the beginning.